We do want to bring you up to date now on the terror attack last week at NAS Corpus Christi's North Gate. Investigators say the shooter, 20-year-old Adam Alsahli, was a Del Mar College student studying business administration. Of course, it was last Thursday, just after 6 in the morning, when investigators say Alsahli drove up to the North Gate, pulled out a handgun, and opened fire on a Navy guard there. Fortunately, that guard was wearing a bullet-resistant vest and had wound up saving her life. She was able to activate the security barriers, preventing the shooter from getting onto the base, and then she and other security guards opened fire, killing Alsahli. FBI agents and others are now investigating the shooting as an act of terrorism after finding social media posts from Alsahli expressing support for extremist groups like Al-Qaeda.
Doing a full, what we call a vertical, full background, criminal background, social background on the subject, to see who his friends, associates are, what kind of social media activity there is, and other resources that they can draw upon to get a sense of who this person is, what his motivation was.
Former FBI agent there talking about the process for investigating the shooter. The FBI is still searching for a second person of interest who may have more information on a motive for last week's shooting. Operations at NAS Corpus Christi return to normal by Friday afternoon. If you have any information, you're asked to call the FBI, 1-800-225-5324.